This is exactly right. You guys were so excited to announce the network premiere episode of the newest member of the Exactly Right family, the True Beauty Brooklyn podcast.
The True Beauty Brooklyn podcast is hosted by estheticians and entrepreneurs Alex Shapiro and Elizabeth Taylor.
And they're joined by experts, friends, and community members to answer listener questions about beauty and skincare that each one of us can relate to.
Alex and Elizabeth, they also host these segments inspired by their diverse clientele and share stories about living in a multicultural world.
And you can also check out their past full library of past episodes with tons of incredible guests, discussions, and advice.
So enjoy the Exactly Right Network premiere episode right here, and then head on over to the True Beauty Brooklyn podcast for a brand new episode out today.
And you can subscribe on Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen.
If you like what you hear today, please write them a review.
And now, enjoy the True Beauty Brooklyn podcast.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Welcome to the True Beauty Brooklyn podcast. I'm Elizabeth Taylor.
And I'm Alex Shapiro.
We're estheticians in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and we work with really incredible, diverse, ambitious, and driven people who are killing it in life. They deserve to be celebrated, and on this podcast, we're going to be sharing their stories with you.
Yeah, and in between our interview episodes, we'll have Beauty School, where it's just the two of us, maybe some guest stars, and we'll be chatting about beauty, life, weird shit about being in your 30s, and learning more about one another, because that's what makes us more similar than different.
Also, we're a lot of fun, and we have a super multicultural community, and we kind of think that you might too. So why not talk about all things beauty under one Black
and Jewish
roof?
Plus, we'll be answering listener questions, so be sure to write us at truebeautybrooklynpodcast@gmail.com.
All right, guys, let's jump into the show. Hey guys.
Hey.
It's Elizabeth.
And Alex.
Welcome to the True Beauty Brooklyn podcast.
Welcome.
So, this is our very first episode on our brand new network.
So excited.
Super exciting. We're on the Exactly Right network, guys, but you know that because you're listening now.
You said it British for a second.
I know, I slipped into my weird British accent.
It's weird. But I liked it. But it wasn't full. I was like,
no,
that's a little British.
I don't know where it came from.
Okay, so we're obviously very excited, maybe a little nervous.
I think so. We were just quote unquote warming up, which was just us screaming at each other in weird British accents and laughing. And that's how it just slipped out now.
Queen songs.
Exactly. So that tells you everything you should know about us.
Technically. I guess this is a little representation of like what you'll be hearing.
Yes, 100%. This is 100% us real.
Yeah.
But
we do get serious at times.
Yes. And we wanted to just jump on here and introduce ourselves to you and tell you who is, I guess, like on the other side of these voices that you're going to hopefully be listening to once a week now. You better guys goddamn listen. No, but Alex and I are estheticians. We work in Williamsburg, Brooklyn, and we love skincare and we're obsessed with eyebrows. But more importantly is we just, are so lucky to work and live in this super diverse, incredible community. And we've made friends with like just the baddest bitches that you can imagine, honestly, from all different walks of life and all different backgrounds. And it came a point where we were just like, we need to let the people know about all of our friends.
Yeah. I think being an esthetician is a really cool job for many ways. I've been in this industry since I'm 19. It's been a long time, but you just get to know people so well.
Totally. Yeah.
So well. And I've had clients tell me, like they told me something and they're like, I haven't even told my therapist that, you really get to be really intimate with people.
For sure.
And we get to learn their whole life story sometimes. And every
within
now
like
and then
30 minutes.
Yeah, somehow.
Yeah.
And then, we were like, we need to
record it all.
About this. Yeah.
Okay, so the cool thing
That's
about
how it
Alex,
started.
for sure, and Alex, well, we specialize here in intimate waxing for women, but like you probably heard it in the promo, I wasn't lying when I say Alex is the best waxer this side of the East River. Like people cross bridges to come over here to hang with her and to get waxed with her. But because we look at a lot of vaginas for a living every day, many times a day, we become really good at just becoming like really fast friends with people. And people, as Alex said, like open up really fast to us. And I joke with girls like, yo, I'm probably the closest thing that's come to your vagina besides like your gynecologist and your boyfriend. So there's no worries that like you're telling me everything about your life right now in like the first 20 minutes of meeting.
It's very vulnerable,
Yes.
but it's made my life so nice.
Yeah.
It really has.
I think you've got a lot of friends, a lot of really close friends.
Yeah, some of my clients have become very good friends of mine.
Oh, totally. Once we switch over from being green friends on the sideline to blue friends on the iPhone, we made the flip-flop. I've got to go.
First I was like, what are you talking about?
Oh, you know what I'm talking about.
But
Y'all
yeah.
know what I'm talking about, the blue bubbles.
It's true. It's true. And I hope that we get to bring some of what we bring to the treatment room onto the podcast.
Yes.
So even if you don't live in New York and you can't come get a beauty treatment.
Yeah,
You
you
get
can
to
come
just
hang with
hang
us
with
once a
us.
week. So we will gush all about everything that we know about skincare. I think the other really cool thing about Alex is that I'm Black, Alex is Jewish and white. Samesies is different. No, you can be a Black Jew.
You can be a Black Jew.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we come from two different spectrums in terms of melanin, in terms of sensitivities. And so we can really teach about a lot of different skin conditions, skin treatments, about a lot of different therapies, things you can do at home, things you can do with your therapists. We can hopefully like help you find a beauty therapist. That's one of our goals, is to build like a dope beauty community of just like bad bitches out to help each other. Dream come
Kind
true.
of that is what we've done.
Yeah. Well,
But we want it even
we want it even bigger.
Worldwide.
Worldwide. Bad bitches worldwide unite.
Yeah.
Yes, I'd love that.
Bitches worldwide unite.
Less cheerleading. So what else? What else can we tell you about us?
I'm a native New Yorker. I feel like I have to say that because native New Yorkers love to do that.
That's true, yes. Am I a native New Yorker too? No.
Technically, well, yeah.
I mean, okay, so I've been in New York City for almost 20 years now. My grandparents, my great-grandparents, and my parents are all from New York. I was raised in upstate New York. That wasn't by choice, all right? I would have stayed here if it was my choice. I came back as soon as possible, but Alex is pretty much here from day one.
Yeah.
She escaped for a little bit to Long Island, but she came back.
And people are always like, oh, you don't sound like you're from Long Island. I'm like, what are people's ideas of what you're supposed to sound like?
We'll get a couple of tequilas back in you, and you can start hearing it come out. Her stepmom, let's just say it right now, has the greatest Queen's accent that you could ever imagine. So just imagine how Alex is like, oh my God, when it starts to come out, I love it. It's so good. It's so good.
I don't even realize it. But anyway, I'm really excited for all of you to join us and get to listen to all of the journeys that we talk about, because we
Totally.
really do. A lot of our guests, I mean, we just have them start from the beginning of their lives, and it's so interesting to see how people's lives play out. And,
Totally.
I hope that you get to learn a lot and get some advice.
Yeah.
Maybe you need advice and you can get it from some of our guests.
Yeah,
I don't know
for
if I can
sure.
provide that.
I mean, we can give you skincare advice for sure. We can give you brow advice for sure. Relationship advice, maybe. Career advice, working on it.
Yeah.
You
working
know?
on that.
But we'll do what we can for sure.
Yeah.
And then the things that we can't teach you, we bring in incredible guest experts. So we have, like we were saying before, so many of like the smartest, most incredible people that we're so lucky to call our friends now. But, you know, instead of just us bitching and moaning about things, we're like, well, let's bring on somebody who actually knows and can tell us why things are, instead of us just, you know, making shit up and getting more and more mad, finding solutions to problems, hopefully, which is what we really
Totally.
try to get to the bottom of.
And my personal favorite part of our podcast are our segments. I
Yes.
know that's like your favorite too. I
For
think.
sure. The segments is like what made me want to do the podcast. I was like, we need to talk more about just differences and similarities and hilarities that come within being in a multicultural world and being in multicultural relationships, and just things that you don't know until you get to know one another, right? Until you become true friends with one another. Like,
Totally.
it's one thing when it's like, oh, my friend, you know, so-and-so from class. But it's another thing when they invite you into your home and like you see, you know, different smells and different traditions and different,
Yeah.
you know, all those cool things. But also,
Like, let's explain our segments.
okay, so
You love them. Okay. So.
because I was just thinking about this morning, because to me, I love it. Okay, so one of my favorite segments is called Milk with Your Dinner. And milk with your dinner comes because when I was a kid growing up, and probably you guys too, maybe you didn't notice it, maybe you didn't, but in all of the movies in the 80s, like these white families would have glasses of milk on their dinner table. And I just never really, like, we didn't grow up drinking milk out of a whole glass of milk, period, let alone with your dinner. Like, that was just never something that would ever come across our household, period. It just didn't happen. And it was this thing that, like, I didn't, like, watching movies, I knew that things that happened, that was reflected back to me, some things were real, some things were false. Like, some things I saw within the Black community, like, were true, and other things were just made up. And so this milk with your dinner thing, I thought was one of those things that was made up. It was just, like, put there to be, like, a wholesome family. And then when I started dating my partner, who's a white man, his ass loves milk. He loves
dinner
all the time. Not necessarily with his dinner, with his dessert, like in the middle of the day, like
dessert.
cereal.
I kind of understand.
Bitch, I would never drink a whole glass of milk, period.
No, never. I don't think I ever have.
No. And so the more I would ask my friends who were also in multicultural relationships specifically about this one thing was milk. Does your white man drink milk? I found more often than not, they would laugh and be like, bitch, what is with white guys and milk?
It's a thing.
It's a thing. And so it became this funny thing that we laugh about, but I would think, what else is out there that we can just like laugh about differences? Like,
turns out there's lots of things.
There's so many things. Like, what hair? If you're a woman of color, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Black ladies, put your hands in the air. We don't leave the house with our hair wet. Never. Not once. We just don't do it. Growing up in a small town, we were the only Black family, and I would always see like white girls at school with wet hair, and I was just like, this is so fucking fascinating. What is that?
Like, and then what do you do with it?
And then what do you do? It just dries like that. So super silly, but just ways I think that we can talk and laugh and get to know each other and become more, working more towards a more perfect union. The United States of America.
So we can really like learn about each other. Nothing to learn about going to school with your hair wet. You're just going to school with your hair wet because you're lazy or you were late.
But you could. That was the difference, is that you could.
Yeah.
That's privilege.
I just wish there was like some
Wet
good
hair privilege.
background I could tell you. Like when you told me about how you care for your hair, there's like a science to all of it. There's
you mean white supremacy?
Yes. But even when you were like, yes, I sleep with the bonnet because it doesn't get my hair messed up.
Yes.
Why do you go to school with your hair wet? I have no reason.
Well, because your mama stopped sleeping with the bonnet. That was the problem.
Yeah.
Y'all stopped going to bed with your hair in curlers and the bonnet.
Yeah.
Do you see, guys? We learned about bonnets together.
I'm not going to lie. I've come to work once or twice with my hair wet and I'm like, don't judge me.
I was just running late. I'm sorry.
Don't judge me.
No, but it's fun. And we learned a ton, which is so great.
We do.
Yes.
Our other segment, which I really love, is I didn't know then, but I'm older now.
Yes.
And it's when we discuss things that we did when we were younger. Sometimes it's just something we used to do like a couple years ago.
Exactly. Sometimes it was last week.
Yeah. But mostly I know for myself, it's like things I did as a preteen or like an early teen. Like either fashion
20s.
or 20s. Yeah. Either like weird fashion decisions or
Yes.
just like dumb shit I would do.
Yes. Or just terrible life decisions, like letting that man tickle your feet through the window.
Yeah, that happened.
In community college when he told you that
It happened. Oh no,
he
my
was a
family's
master's
gonna know now.
student.
That happened. There's weird people out there.
You know?
But you're just young sometimes and you don't know stuff.
No, but then we had a great guest on who told us about the time that the man asked her to stand on his chest, and came to find out that was some sort of fetish. What was it? Like stomping, crushing, something.
It's called stomping.
Called stomping. You see, so guys, the more we share, the more we learn.
Knowledge
Alex
is power.
had foot fetish guy. Our friend Kirsten had stomping fetish guy. Now y'all bitches know, don't let men touch you in weird places.
No, don't.
Also, that was the weird early aughts. Maybe the young
Weird
people
time.
know better
It was
now.
a weird time in life, and the internet wasn't the same. I would have known maybe more
it's
things.
true. Your Nokia fucking phone
Wasn't
didn't have
teaching me
enough
shit.
minutes. Yeah,
No minutes.
yeah. You couldn't even call nobody, girl.
Nights and weekends only. You know?
So what else? Okay, so this episode that we're sharing with you guys today is really special because another fun thing that we do monthly is we have our beauty guru bestie, Sabrina Rowe Holdsworth, stop by. Sabs is an incredible celebrity hair and makeup artist. She did your and my makeup for the artwork that y'all are looking at. and our hair. And she works with all of your faves. She works with Phoebe Robinson. She works with Ilana Glazer. She works with fucking all your faves, everybody. So we're so lucky that we get to call her a good friend. And she comes to answer you guys' listener letters, all of your beauty questions, your skincare questions, your hair questions, your nail questions, whatever you guys got. We can answer it. Sabs can answer it.
Yes.
And Sabs also happens to be the owner of Natural by Sabs, an incredible hair and skincare line. So today, you guys are going to learn about Natural by Sabs.
Yay.
We're going to interview our little friend.
I love it. It's a great product line.
It's an incredible product line. It's for all types of curly hair. So I have, kinky, curly African-American hair, black hair. Alex has wavy, beautiful blonde hair.
That's really nice.
You
My
know-
hair's really dried out from bleaching it. And it's more straight than anything. When I'm lucky, it gets a wave.
No, it's wavy. It's wavy and gorgeous. But we both have products that Sabs, Natural by Sabs, we can use in our hair. We both use the shampoo.
Yeah. I don't think that's really been done where like a line truly can be used on anyone.
Yes, for sure. My boyfriend loves his soap on a rope, as he calls it, his shampoo bar. But she just makes incredible hair and skincare products. And so we thought that we'd have Sabs on today, speaking from a business standpoint as an entrepreneur, introduce her to you guys. And then you get to hear, I guess, like the trifecta of who you can expect on the show. For sure, at least once a month, the three of us, always the two of us. Sometimes we have some other guest stars too. So that's it.
It gets real fun.
So, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in to our very first episode on the Exactly Right Network. I'm getting really emotional right now. I'm going to try not to cry. I'm really excited. And we're just excited to be here. So listen to our episode. Thanks for listening. We'll see you guys in the outro. And we love you guys.
See you on the flip side.
Bye. So Sab, so you were our inaugural guest for the first episode ever of the True Beauty Brooklyn podcast. And and we were just talking about how we just, I was like, can I just come over? You can do my hair and tell me about your life. And now look where we are.
I know. I love that was the first episode.
I know.
And now it's a new first.
I know. I'm really excited. I was really happy that you guys asked me to do it. Obviously, you have had access to some incredible people, but I'm better than them. No.
But I'm way fucking cooler.
No, it means a lot. And, you could have asked anyone, and I appreciate that you guys asked me.
Oh, we love
we
you.
love ya.
And also, I think that we have a really, I don't know, I think the people's like to hear us all together. My sister tells me that they're her favorite episodes when the three of us are together.
Because we're fun
Oh,
together.
Because we're really fun
Probably
together.
because we're really friends.
Exactly. So
That
It's
makes
very
it,
easy
yes.
to listen to us fuck around.
True. It's true.
That's literally what we do is fuck around.
I know.
Okay, so why don't we start at the beginning? Even though you told our listeners before about the beginning of your journey, I feel like we're introducing you. The first time, I guess, is like this fantastic celebrity hair and makeup artist, and now you still are those things, but you have your incredible line, and you're starting a different.
I know. I'm now a founder.
You're,
No,
you're
I don't
founder.
really know. It's so interesting because the beauty brand is under my existing business. And I did that on purpose because I started a new business during a pandemic like a psychopath. And, eventually someday it'll have to be its own entity. But for now, it is under my existing business. And, I was like, how am I going to put this on Instagram? Like, when you're like describing yourself, I hate doing that part. Obviously, I don't like the heat. I don't want that smoke. I don't love that kind of attention. But at the end of the day, these are my formulations. This is my baby. It means the world to me. I know that I'm super privileged to have been able to do this in a time where so many people lost their jobs. And I was like, I'm going to use all the money that I have and turn them into little black bottles of product. Because again, I'm a psychopath. So I was talking to a friend and she was like, you founded a brand. I was like, oh, that is what I did. I founded a brand. But
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have myself listed as founder or mother or what it is, but it is a big deal. Well, that's what I wanted to put mother, because everybody's always like, oh, you're happily married. Where are the kids? And I'm like, that's why I'm happily married.
Same, girl, same.
Don't try to sell me your lie.
Honestly.
Wait, can I say something real fast about
Yes.
the Natural by Sabs nourishing conditioner? So remember I bought a second one off of you, and then I moved.
Yes, like crack.
And I've been living in limbo, and I had used the very last of my old bottle, and I didn't know where I had packed the new one, and I just didn't wash my hair for many days until I found it. Because I didn't want to use anything else. I've gotten very attached to it. And when I found it 2 days ago, the way that I yelled out, Kyle was like, what happened? I'm like, just hair conditioner.
That's great. And I'm glad that you love it as much as I do. It certainly loves your tresses, because the ends of your hair are looking not ratchet at all.
It's impressive. It's honestly impressive.
Not ratchet.
It's also the oil, but you'll tell us all about these.
Like, we didn't overlap. Like, I just think it's one step in the right direction of your hair journey.
I go to this gal who's just great with color. It's just like
The greatest colors.
she's just great.
But I have to give credit to all of the beautiful, incredible colorists that train me and let me watch them and,
Aw.
listen to my, million questions, because I'm so painfully annoying when I'm trying to learn something.
Okay, so Sab,
Same.
so take us to the beginning. Start from the beginning, and we'll work our way forward. I know, like we were saying before, like you did this once before, but why don't we just kind of do it one more time for the people who maybe didn't listen to episode 1, but then take us in the middle of your journey. Let's
I'm going to give you a short version, because I'm like, y'all can listen to that episode.
Oh, stop! So how are we going to take up your time with you here?
No.
I mean, three of us, I'm not worried.
To talk about, like,
Are you kidding me? We could just talk about conditioner for an hour.
We don't need to talk about my
You talk
origin
about how you want to,
necessarily.
and we can direct them. We can direct the listeners to our first episode.
We'll direct them to the first episode, but it doesn't matter. You are being
Yeah, because that was
broadcast.
such an organic moment. Like,
Yeah.
it would feel
I
very-
understand
Just start. Look, we love you, Sabs, but this is the format. What's your name? Who are you? Where are you from? Start at the beginning.
Okay.
This bitch trying to
My
jump
name
shit.
is-
Like,
I know. It's like, bye.
bye. You know me, bitch.
Great
You know
hair
me.
products.
You can look me up. Google me. No. Tell them. Who are you?
Actually, that was my client. My old client, Jess White, said that on an episode of Tyrell on MTV.
That's hilarious.
They were like, who is you? And she was like, Google me. And then she told me it was like a scripted reality show. I'm like, oh, I love that.
I love it.
Anyway, so my name is Sabrina Rowe Holdsworth, which is my married name. It used to be just Sabrina Rowe, which for business it is still Sabrina Rowe. Shout out to Winston. I'm a very proud daughter. I am originally from the Bronx, New York. I'm 100% a New Yorker through and through. I was born to 2 Latin parents. One is Puerto Rican. My mom is from Puerto Rico, and my dad is from Panama. So he's Afro-Latino. And he just is like, I'm black, y'all. I'm African. He's very much doesn't subscribe. He's like, I'm black.
Yeah.
You don't need to know anything else. He won't even speak Spanish to strangers. Yeah, he gave that up years ago. He's like, nope, I've had enough trouble. I'm just going to be black. Leave me alone. The limbo wasn't cute. I get it. I live in limbo. But I am a 3rd-generation hairstylist. So my grandmother was the first, but I'm sure there's plenty more, because I have a cousin who was a barber. It's very much a Latin thing to do, hair. And so then my mother did hair, and where my grandmother's passion was hair, my mom did it because it was a job. She immediately had a job in her mother's salon. And
was your grandma up in the Bronx doing hair?
No, they were in Chicago. They eventually came to New York, but she worked in Puerto Rico, then from Puerto Rico to a quick pit stop in New York. And then my mom grew up actually in Chicago, and went to high school there, which is so bizarre. And then came back to New York. So my grandma had salons in both Chicago and I believe in New York. She died before I was born, so I don't have full tea on her. Full disclosure. She was welcoming of the melanin. So we never really got that deep about her.
Right.
Because I think it was a source of strain in my parents' relationship.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so one would say that hair, you know, or beauty rather, was in my bones.
Yeah.
Because before I wanted to be a hairstylist, I just happened to be good at it because I had mixed texture. And, you know, at the time growing up in the 80s and 90s, there wasn't a lot of, I mean, there were certainly plenty of mixed kids, but there wasn't like, you know, now we have brands called Mixed Chicks.
Right.
And like, it is very much, you know, a relevant conversation, all of the different iterations of curl.
Yeah.
And I grew up where you're like black or you're Puerto Rican. And so either you have black hair or you have Puerto Rican hair. And so I had sort of the mix where it is extremely fine curly hair. So now, like, you know, it's very clear. People are like, oh yeah, you have mixed, you're mixed.
Right.
You know? Then it was like, why's your hair so soft? You must got Indian in your family.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, they killed all the Indians, guys. Nobody has Indian. Like, it's the saddest thing, but I'm like, we can't claim that.
But too, is back in the day, there, like, even, I mean, I grew up in the middle of nowhere, so when we got a shelf in a Walmart, it was a very big deal. But like, there wasn't, I mean, there was like Blue Magic, there was like the pink stuff.
Oh, of course.
There was
Queen Helene, baby, Queen Helene.
And then that's not even before we start talking about the relaxers, right? Like, there just wasn't.
I
like,
used to buy the
and that's what
olive
you
oil
do.
hair masks from the ethnic section.
Ooh, you have an
See,
ethnic
never
section.
scared.
I
She was
can't-
never scared. She's like, I'm gonna have black friends.
I was just like, I'm gonna grease my scalp tonight.
That's right. That's right. That's right. You're like, I don't know what edges are yet, but I will.
I just remember being like, I need something for my dry ends, and this seems like it will work.
Yeah. How'd it work?
It was great.
Do you see? But there wasn't a ton. There just wasn't. At the time, there wasn't a lot of different types of product at all. Like, we all had a big
was
joke
definitely
about
a very small section.
about like frizzies, like 3 girls with 3 different types of hair, and all of us
And
went
one
into
product,
the CVS like, yo, can I get the frizzies? Is it gonna make my hair beautiful and shiny and flowy like this lady?
Okay, but also, full disclosure, the picture that they do, like the before, like your crazy frizzy hair, and then the after, I'm like, guys,
yeah.
no. Don't do that to black children. That's rude as hell.
Yeah, honestly,
For real.
it's like,
Even
how are you
Jewish
gonna
girls,
lie?
like, don't do that to
lie.
them.
Like, there's no
It's wrong.
straightener. Like, she didn't blow dry that shit. Like, they packaged that. Like, you ran it through your hair.
I
and
remember
you,
that was it.
and
You
you
were
were
done.
that was it. You were a mermaid.
So, Sab, you know my hair pretty well. You know my hair very well.
Yes.
But when I
Yes.
was like going through puberty, my hair was very strange. It was very wavy and unruly and frizzy. It was just for like a couple years. And I remember buying like Frizzies made some like creamy product that you pumped out.
Yeah, the pump.
It made my hair just look greasy and frizzy. Like it didn't. It was
Yeah,
horrible.
because it wasn't heavy enough. I know. Like now, obviously, that I know about product, I have a completely different sort of an impression of the product. But I realized, like, okay, this is what was not happening. It wasn't heavy enough to weigh down the frizz, but it was oily enough to make your hair appear oily. So it was like
So strange.
not enough emulsifier. And
Was it just
you know,
silicones?
correct. Yes, but it's, I mean, obviously I don't know the exact formula, so I don't want to go too deep, but it was a good idea, just not executed well.
Well, and it was like, what else was there at the time? You know, it's funny
And
because now,
trust,
like,
the thing is that frizzies did work for some people.
Mm-hmm.
So if you were lucky to fall into that category, you're like, this is the truth.
who was it?
This
I wanna
stuff
meet
is
these
amazing.
people. I've yet to
Listen,
meet one.
I had a woman maybe 6 or 7 years ago, and that seems like a long time when I say it now because we've had such a fucked up year.
Right.
The year like aged us all for 10 years, but she brought in. She was from overseas, from London, and she brought me frizzies for her blow dry, and I was like, okay, but.
How'd it
And then I
go?
remember seeing her walking down the block, and I was like, you know, she's like, yeah, because this makes my blow dry last really long. And all I was thinking was, yes, perhaps in London, where the water is different and the humidity acts differently. Welcome to New York summer. Clip 2, gave her blow dry. She was like, it is quite expensive for a blow dry. I'm like, not here. And
Welcome.
gave her a blow dry. And I remember seeing her like 2 days later with her hair curly, walking with her man. And I was like, see, I told you. One gonna last, girl. One gonna last. You thought you were going to get that same situation.
All right. And that's very
like
interesting.
the
so
humidity
interesting.
Humidity and all these
in
things.
New York is very different. So,
Yeah.
like I said, there were plenty of women
Yeah.
that were like, frizzies is the truth.
Right.
But
It won't
yeah, not in New York.
Yeah. So you're growing up in the Bronx, and you are, when you were in high school, is that when you started to kind of like toy around with hair? Because like, as you're kind of taking us down and saying that your hair, you know, didn't really fit into any one category. So did you take it upon yourself to figure it out?
I would not say that I figured anything out. I think I was just experimenting, and I went to an art school. So makeup and like wig work and, you know, sort of character stuff was
which
part
school
of
was
my
it?
curriculum. Yeah, nice. LaGuardia for the performing arts. Which, yeah, y'all know, the famed school. I did not graduate, though. Like, I just want full disclosure, because I think everybody gets super excited when they're like, oh, my God, I went there. Or, oh, I wanted to go there. And, like, I was not some, like, success story out of LaGuardia and had, like, you know, a Timothy Chalamet moment. Like, no, child. I went to LaGuardia, like a lot of LaGuardians, appreciated the program, but I was going through a lot of personal shit at home, so I did not make it to continue. Like, I didn't finish. I dropped out and got my GED. And then I really like went hard and like trying to figure out a job and a situation. And that's when all that stuff that I'd learned there became like, okay, so this will just be my passing through stuff. Like, I didn't go to prom. I did some of my friends for prom, you know? And like, instead of having a sweet 16 or a quince, which, you know, I'm not Mexican, but like, you know, my parents were like, you can have a sweet 16. I was like, no, I want a box of makeup.
I love that.
I wanted a kit. I was
Yeah.
very like, listen, I'm going to be famous someday, so I need to be able to make myself look good, because I don't think anybody's going to be able to handle my
All
you know.
this. Nobody can handle all this, Sabrina.
Yeah.
So let me handle
Which is
myself.
totally not true. There are plenty of incredibly talented hair and makeup artists out there.
Yes, but you
I was
had-
just so insecure,
yes.
and you know, just having a mom that didn't understand my hair, and you know, my sister's hair texture was different. Like, I come from a big family, and we all have different hair being mixed. So it was like, you know, from like 4C to like 2, you know, like it was a run of the gamut. And for those of you that don't know what those numbers mean, it just means from like as coiled, curly as possible to as straight, like as straight of a wave you could imagine possible. So, you know, you lay on it and it's straight. You put your hair in a ponytail and it falls straight.
Right.
You know, like,
You
it's
lay
that
on
kind of wave.
straight.
It's not really a wave, but it's enough that we can mention that it's a wave.
Right. Okay. And then, so, all right, continue. So you, what was next for you after, like high school, and like you got your kit from your mom, and then like where did you?
Yeah, so how old were you
Well,
when
that
you
was
left high
the start
school?
of my kit, because
Okay.
that wasn't like my real kit. It was just like, it really like wet my palate and got me like really into sort of playing with makeup and playing with, realizing that like it could be a supplement, you know, of my income. And so like a fast forward, because I don't really want to like rehash every step in my, it's like
Yeah.
not my fuzzy warm place.
Yeah, take us where you want to
I've
take
been
us.
20 years doing this shit, so
Yeah.
it basically like it really sort of set off when my mom fell ill with cancer, and then I realized like, okay, I have to step up for my family, and I've got to be an adult now. Which just meant like, you know, the money I made wasn't just mine. Like the money I made was for me to help my dad, for, you know, for my siblings to not feel that pressure, because like my sister was going to college and like trying to figure out her shit. My brothers were still in parochial high school, and I had to help them, you know, with their tuition and stuff. And I realized like, okay, like I can actually make money doing this. And even at that point, I still thought it was like a pause. It took me so long to realize like, girl, this is your life now.
Well, what did you think that you were going to do? What was the?
I thought I was going to be an actress, singer, dancer, lawyer.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I was like, if I don't, do like work in performing arts, I was like, I'm gonna actually finish college and go to law school. And that is 100% not what happened. I've dropped in for a million classes and I can probably fake it really well, but yeah, she's no lawyer, but she can write pretty well.
There's a lot. There's like so many. There's too many lawyers right now, from what I understand, in this country.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, I think you dodged a
You made a
bullet,
good
girl.
choice, both of you.
I think so. I've been talking to a lot of people because this is a path that I hear a lot of, specifically women, because I work with women. Like, if you have a certain amount of like intelligence and you're in a place in your life where like you're not necessarily sure where you want to go, I think law school is like sort of an obvious option
There's
of just
so
like
much information.
yeah, just like, well, there's a
You
lot
can
I can
just
do
learn
with
so
it. I can like
much.
continue
and
this.
you can use it for so many things.
Exactly. So I know a lot of women that are similar to us that like almost went down that path or were very close to going down that path. We've spoken. I took the fucking LSAT 3 times. Bitch thought she was going to law school. And
I know.
I'm like,
it's like that for me, when you told me that, I was like, see,
you're like, that makes sense.
There's so much sense. It makes so
right?
much sense.
But I say that because I don't think, I'm happy that it wasn't the path that you took. Do you know? I'm happy that it wasn't the path that
thank
ended
you,
up for
buddy.
you. Honestly, because I hear
Same.
you say
The
that,
path
I'm
that
just
you're
like,
on is so meant for you, I
yes,
think.
I think so too. Yeah.
Since I've known you, it
Thanks,
just makes
guys.
sense.
Yeah.
I mean,
But I can also see you being a really good lawyer.
Yeah.
It's hard. I think when you come from, parents that are born, I mean, like my mom is technically, was born a citizen, but because it's still like a territory and not like mainland, there is that immigrant mentality that's forever etched in her mind and my father's mind, being born out of the country, born and raised, because my dad didn't come to the States till he was 30.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And, obviously in wanting to make them proud, it's like, be famous, which is a hood mentality thing.
Yeah.
I think any person of color that's come from the hood and like has a little bit of skill doing anything, whether it be singing or dancing or acting or drawing, or you're like, be famous, because this is like, you think it's like this quick pipeline to money where
Right.
you can save everybody and buy everybody a house.
Right.
But in reality, what you end up doing, I mean, sometimes, yes, they win and they become famous and they love it and it's great and whatever. But a lot of times it's, you're like, you just want to do something that makes them proud.
Yes.
And every sacrifice that they've made, worth it
Yes.
to some degree. And so while I am extremely proud of what I've done, I think that there's always going to be a little bit of a chip on my shoulder because I was a little bit like a nerd, that I didn't do something more like socially impactful, like
Yeah.
where I love my job. And the thing is, like, when you go through a global pandemic, you realize like you just play with curls and lipstick. Like you're literally not saving anybody's shit. And when the chips all fell and we realized like who actually is essential, that was where I was like, oh my God, I am so not essential, even though I think what I do carries value. It's vapid. And what can I do to like, use what I know and marry the scientific part of my brain and the creative part of my brain and do something, do something that I feel will be important without having to touch people. Because for a long time, like
couldn't.
I was legally not allowed.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to touch people.
Yeah.
And I've touched people for 20 years.
Yeah.
So it's like, one of those things, I mean, over 20 years, but 20 years, I say that because I've been credited for 20 years. Like I count the year that I was first published as my first year, but I was doing hair and makeup, easily 6 years before that. Just like, it was trash. Like, I had a lot of that first 5 years, 10 years was trash. I feel like I just got good 10 years ago. But that's how my brand was born. Natural by
Yeah.
Sabs was born out of like the need for me to do something that was passive, that allowed me to utilize the scientific part of what I've learned in this business and through my studies all over the world, and be able to fill a hole that I thought should be filled in the beauty business, and to be, a true entrepreneur and show. I'm going to get emotional. I'm PMSing, so please do not.
Oh, stop.
hold
You can
this
show
against me.
emotions. It's okay.
No, I know, but I don't love that.
Oh, we love you.
But it was really important for me to show other children of immigrant parents that, you know, even if it isn't, you're not the lawyer, engineer, doctor that a lot of them want.
Yeah.
That you can do something and be the first to do something. You know, I'm the first in my family to start a brand. I'm the
Yeah.
first. And that I formulated myself, which is insane, you know?
Yeah.
And I am super proud of that.
Yeah.
I
And
know
in the
my
middle of the
parents are
in the middle of the pandemic, I would call Sabs and be like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "Bitch, I'm learning chemistry. Get off the phone. I can't talk to you right now." And I'm like, "All right, girl, let me know
Oh
when
my
you're
God,
ready."
I know. I was like fitting. I'm like, I
Yes.
cannot talk. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm literally like with beakers right now.
Yeah. Which is so awesome. It's so
Yeah.
awesome. It's,
Yeah, was that part of your inspiration for starting this line? Or what kind of, was this something you wanted to do like forever and you just never had the time to?
But I never, I honestly thought I would do it like when I was much older. I was like, yeah, it's something that I'll toy around with when I'm older and I like have more of a name, so that people are like, oh, she did it, I'm buying it, done. You know, because just being a part of this industry and entertainment and beauty, I'm very aware of like the bottom line. People love to be told what to do. They especially love to be told what to do by a familiar face. So Taraji did a
Yes.
hairline. Taraji's hairline's doing well.
yeah.
We don't know Taraji for hair, like, but we love her hair.
Yes.
And we love her looks and we love what she serves. So we're like, we co-sign Taraji,
Totally.
you know? And
And we're also
I
in an
get
age
that.
of like a lot of misinformation. There's like the consumer is very smart right now, and all they have to do is turn over the bottle and do a Google. And so people want to know who's selling, like who's making this product that I'm buying. Do I believe them and the ingredients that they're putting in it?
Exactly.
And so I
think
will use it.
That's
you know?
more it. Like, and to your point, which I think is really important, which I definitely want to touch on, is how the buyer is smart. Yes, the buyer is much more educated, like more than any other time before. But I will say that this is a double-edged sword because what in my own education, formulation education and chemistry education, a lot of times what you read on the bottle, A, you don't know the percentages. B, you don't know what that product does. And we know these names, some of them, we know the names to do something different. So for example, alcohol, like in Black Hair Care, we're all like, no alcohol. I don't want no alcohol. Ladies, yes, you do. Alcohol is a preservative. It is a naturally occurring preservative. It is not drying your product out because you'd have no product.
Yeah.
It is helping preserve your product so we can use less garbage in that product. So yes, you do. It can't all be oil.
Yeah.
It is going to rot.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing is like, you want it natural. You want it with crazy results and you want it to last for the 4 years that it stays in your cabinet.
Right. Yes.
With 17 other products.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, but that's just not the case. Like for
Yeah.
me, I was like, which I do for my line use almost entirely organic or like organic substitute or acceptably used products, like ingredients and everything. But I could not afford to get all of my products examined, to get this stamp of like
Yep.
USDA organic. Like people don't realize that. I'm like,
Yeah.
it's like you want it to be natural and you want it to be amazing. And it's like, I am using those ingredients, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
The point is at the end, and this is where I'm like systemic, like there are so many things to say about why we have what we have as a people, especially as a Black people. Like I need that aunt with money. I need that uncle with money. I don't have that. So basically I used my entire life savings to create a brand that I'm proud of, but I can't even tell you that all the products are organic because I can't afford to.
Yeah.
This is the reality that I live in.
It's so fucked.
And it made me check myself because I'm like, look at all these products that first of all, like, we've all used shit. Like, we've all used garbage, daily use garbage. Nobody is not using some kind of garbage.
Yes.
Whether it be their toothpaste or whatever.
Yes.
But we're comfortable with that garbage.
Right.
But now, because, like, you know, in beauty, we're like, we've got bloggers who, like, rip, you know, ingredients to shreds and, like, will tell you, oh, well, this is what this does. And I'm like, Queen, are you a formula? Like, do you know what percentage that this person is working with? It just
do you even know hair? Do you even know hair?
Right.
Besides
you know
your own hair. Yes,
you know
yes. And you just know
Everyone
what
on
you
the
think
internet
looks
knows
good.
fucking everything. It's so irritating.
Think that you're a hairdresser, and it's like, no.
Yes.
We don't get to, like, pick and choose who sits on our chair all the time.
Yes.
I have a very diverse chair, which means I've had every race, every religion, every creed. I have a private studio, so I have many women in hijab come here and get their hair done. I have many Jewish clients who send me their wigs or come in here for their wigs. Like, this is a reality. I know things about scalps that, like, people would not want me to share. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there's just always so much more to the story, and we get very hung up on canceling and this is good and this is bad. And I'm like, different strokes for different folks.
Yes.
And we need to remember that this is a capitalist country.
Yeah.
And there is a lot that goes into someone bringing a product to market.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm small people like, oh, are you going to be retailing in a bunch of, no, guys. Do I want to get picked up by the Targets and Sephora's and et cetera, the big box retailers? Yes, someday.
Yeah.
But it means that I would need the amount of product that this little pocket cannot afford.
Yeah.
She cannot afford. I don't believe in going into heavy debt to make this a reality. Like, I'm in comfortable debt now.
Yes.
You know, and I wasn't before.
Yeah.
You know,
well,
but
it's a
that's
lot of
also the
optics,
pandemic.
right? Oftentimes it's like I remember my little cousin came to New York for the first time maybe last Christmas, and she's like, oh, girl, looking up at the buildings, don't you want a True Beauty up there? I said, bitch, no. I want my overhead to be as low as possible. Like, when I
Correct.
first started, yes,
Thank you.
I wanted all these big things. I wanted, the glass, all this shit to show. Bitch, I want to make money. I don't care what the optics are.
And it's exactly.
Yes. And to
a
do
lot
those
of
big
what
box
a lot
stores,
of people
yes.
don't know
Yes, girl.
is that when you sell to big retailers like that, the margin is terrible, which means what you make on each item is so low that basically all it is broad advertising.
Yes.
It is the way that you put into a business plan, here, give me more money because these people want my product. That's all it is. Like, it takes so long for you to actually go green from the red, and like, natural isn't anywhere near there, but I am so incredibly proud of what's inside these products. So I'm not in a rush. I'm not in a rush to bring more products to market. Everybody's asking me about styling. I'm like, here's the thing. As a hairstylist and a cosmetologist of many years, what I think is the most important thing, and every stylist that has sat behind a chair in a salon will agree with me, is it starts with your shampoo and conditioning ritual. That's where it starts. Healthy hair is not something I can give you. Healthy hair is a practice between you, the products you choose to put in your hair, the things you put in your mouth and you drink and you smoke, etc. And then the treatments that you apply to said hair. Like, it's not a one-step process, and it really, the great responsibility relies in the user, in the consumer. And I know it's like everybody wants me to be like, yes, my product is going to save you, and it may Band-Aid the situation because they are incredible products. But if you have terrible shampoo and conditioning, basically if you have poor habits, which means you don't shampoo enough, you shampoo too much, you under condition, you over condition, you eat poorly, you party every week, every weekend, every night, however, no judgment, but don't expect to have healthy anything. And a product is true. I'm like, I've done it all the ways, guys. I've done the legwork for you. Bottom line,
I'm telling you, this is how it is.
It's true.
Yes, I don't have easy hair. I've never had easy hair. Good product makes me feel better about life, but it never will solve the fact that I have not easy hair to maintain. Curly hair is it is high maintenance. We don't live in the bush, and we don't live in a society where our hair can just be what it is. Like, we have to whip it into submission because this is what we have been conditioned to do. And so that's why she got locks on her head. I'm like, I'm done subscribing to these like Western ideals of beauty. I love these locks. I don't like. I had my model today ask me if my hair is real, and I'm like, why is it relevant? I just put all this fake shit on your face.
Yeah, yeah.
Is your face real?
But you know what I mean? This is something that, as a Black woman, especially, and as a woman in general in beauty, you constantly have to come up against. And it's like, she didn't mean anything by it. Right. She's not American. Yeah. Like, you know, her English is not great, but you know, she just was curious. Yes. She was curious. And, you know, it wasn't my time to teach her a lesson in like, like,
Sis was
tired. Know, I'm like, you wouldn't want anybody to ask you what you are.
Or you wouldn't want anybody to ask you, like, if your hair is fake. I could never imagine asking somebody like a stranger.
Because you're black. Yeah. It doesn't occur to us because we're not in the position to ask stupid questions like that. I'm sorry, lady, like, listeners, I love you and I appreciate you being curious, but that's what fucking Google is for. Do not disrespect any Black or brown woman. If you don't fucking know, look it up. Don't ask her. She's not here to teach you about her hair.
Also, why can't people just say, I love your hair?
Thank you.
Why does it have to be like...
That's what she said after. I love your hair. Why did you need to know if it was real?
Yeah.
Wait, real quick. I had a client the other day who was Black, and she was saying how she's like, I really have been loving like experimenting with different wigs. And she's like, I do it myself so it doesn't look good. You could see the lace or whatever. And I was like, and I looked and I was like, oh yeah. I'm like, but I didn't notice that. She's like, you didn't notice? I'm like, I don't know. I'm white, and maybe because I don't wear wigs, it's not something I would notice. Yeah. And she was dying, and I'm like, I see it now, but like, it still looks good.
Her girlfriends probably drag her ass. Like,
it's like Black women, we will drag each other to filth. Like, and that is also conditioning, is we don't let each other shine. We don't let each other shine. That's also part of it. And so we make it a joke. Like, obviously, like, we do it to each other. I love you to death. You're like my sister.
That's like the opposite, Sabs.
You're also her hair girl. It's like...
First of all, I just have to say something. Sabs, you're not letting me shine by telling me that my fucking edges are a mess.
You're letting her shine.
You're letting me shine. You're the opposite.
Actually.
It's the opposite. You're like, girl, why are you doing that to yourself?
Friends, how we, like, drag each other, and we're like, on one side, we always want the best. Like, you know, we expect the best from the people that are around us. Yes. The people that we care for. But then B, like, it is also a traumatic conditioning that we have encountered as Black women, that we are always the butt of a joke. Therefore, we can't just, like, let us sister rock if her lace is, like, slipping. Like, if her lace is peeling up, like, you have to be the one to, like, lay it on her. And it's like, why? Like, granted, yes, I want you to tell me if my lace is... Like,
no, I know what you mean. No, I know exactly what you mean, because it always comes down to, like, it's one of the first things that you and I spoke about when we were talking. One of our first conversations Alex and I had, I was talking to her about, like, a hair wrap. And she was like, what's a hair wrap? And I was like, you've seen women walking around with their hair wrapped. You probably just thought that it was a hairstyle. You didn't know what they're doing. But, like, if my mama saw me walking around with my hair wrapped, she would whoop my ass. And she's like, why? And I said, well, because she'd say, what would white people think? And Alex was like, but why? Like, just, it didn't click. And then I thought, well, you're right. Like, in saying this out loud, it doesn't make sense, but it's conditioning in that, like, we have to present ourselves. And you even said that. You're like, what? So you can actually be taken seriously, like, as a human? It doesn't make any sense. Yes. But, like, yes, but that is what it is. You know, when you say it out loud like that, it sounds ridiculous, but it isn't, because this is the society that we live in, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're just all trying to, like, stay alive in it. And it's not
the truth.
Basically.
To me, it's really, I think it's super important, you know, to remind, I don't know, I just love to have these conversations and call it what it is, like, you know, the joking and, like, all that stuff like that we do, because it is still a source of pain for a lot of women. There are still many women that wake up every day, and I'm sure there are men too, but I more care about the women, because I'm sorry, like, we're really at the bottom of it all. That, you know, wake up and they hate their hair, and they hate the way that they look, and hair, and this is sort of like what, you know, when I realized like, wow, I'm like fully in love with this thing. Hair is a way for us to like describe each other. It's one of the, if not the first thing that anyone notices about you is your hair. Like you can, for example, I was watching it like, it was like a docu-series or whatever, and it was one of those crime shows. But it was basically about how, like, you know, in the lineup, I forget what they're called, the ones that draw the, like when you're doing
sketches.
The police sketch. They have a name. I don't know if it's like Craddock.
Oh, yeah, I forgot what it is.
I don't want to
know
say
what
it
you're talking
wrong. Like, don't be
I know.
this guy they were interviewing was saying hair is one of the like best sort of, usually one of the most accurate things that people describe because it's the thing that leaves the longest impression.
Interesting.
That's so interesting.
Exactly. But so think
God, I gotta
about
brush my hair more.
if you were sending an Uber for me and you're like, yeah, but it's not me, it's a girl, and what is one of the first things you're going to
No,
say?
you'd say her hair color, at least.
Exactly.
Yeah.
A brunette.
It's the number one
yeah.
thing. And so I saw another, like in my many, many years of like nerding out on like why we think what we think. But like the whole like interview thing and interview culture and, you know, and I think I told you guys about this before where it was like two women, same exact credentials, look really similar. They had these two women. It was like sort of focus group situation, same exact credentials. The only difference was how they like each wore their hair. So one woman, like they both had curly hair, but could be straightened. So, you know, same interview, like went on the interview with curly hair and vice versa. So like two different employers.
Right.
One went with curly hair, one went with straight hair. Each time, the straight hair person won. Each time. When the girl wore her hair straight, she got the job.
Yeah.
And
Does it matter what her ethnicity was?
no,
Interesting.
no.
Why?
Curly hair is perceived so
It's like
it
wild?
was right. Wild,
so crazy.
unkempt, free, not serious.
Right. I was thinking wild in like a good way, but I guess they're obviously looking at it like
but that's
wild.
what I think, but
Yeah.
a lot of times when people say wild, they do not mean it in a positive
Well, it's
way.
because we're
And certainly in corporate America.
Yes, certainly, because it's conformity, right? It's that
Exactly.
curly isn't the norm. It's not the majority, I should say. It's not
I'm like,
that it's not
there's
the norm.
plenty of curly hair, though.
No, but
That's like,
yes.
I don't know what the actual
And
statistics are on
okay,
that,
well, I
but
think
at
it's
least for,
way
like,
more common.
Well, in terms of like the white beauty standard,
Right.
curly
It's
is
curly is not the norm.
it. Curly ain't it.
And that's why I was literally using a clothing iron
Yes.
to straighten my hair when I was 12 years old.
Yeah, right.
Because I
It's
had
why
that
we
weird
put-
way frizzy hair.
We put chemicals in our hair
Yeah,
from the
to
time
straighten
that
it.
we're 5 years old to straighten it. To burn your scalp. Like how
It's
many
horrible.
chemical burns have you fucking had?
Irreparable-
Like
irreparable
it's
damage.
insane. It's insane. Yeah, all of these. You're absolutely right. And we live in Brooklyn, so it's easy to forget these things because we live in a place where uniqueness is celebrated and you're rewarded for being unique and for being different. I think.
100%.
I think that we would all agree, right? It's like probably one of
That's
the
why
few
we
places
all
in the
are here.
world, right?
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, and like she's a magical multicultural bubble.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
right? But you're absolutely right, it's not the norm. It's so far from the norm that it shocks me, which means New York is doing its job, I think. But it's really, I told you, again, like my young cousin, when she came to New York and she said, you know, Elizabeth, I love your hair, but my mom would say that it was ghetto. And it's like, well,
It breaks my heart.
You know?
It breaks
Yeah,
my heart.
yeah.
I mean, when I told my parents I was locking my hair, the response was, and I knew it wasn't going to be a good response, because if I ever wore braids, they'd be like, why are you doing that? They were like, why? You have good hair.
See through.
And I was like,
Sorry.
that's why.
No,
That
tell
right
the
there.
people. I don't want to sound mean. You're the one who said that to me, and it's the funniest thing I ever heard in my life. Where
Wait,
Sabs
what?
is like, she's like, I can grow my hair long, and for that I have quote unquote good hair, but it's see through. She said that shit ain't thick.
Exactly.
It ain't luscious.
This is yes.
It's
So,
so
to
thin.
give context to what she's talking about, I was telling her that, exactly that about like how like, oh, but your hair can grow. It can grow long. I'm like, so my hair is so fine that when it's long, it is literally see-through. It will continue to grow. Yes, I have hair
I
that
can't
will,
imagine you having fine hair.
oh, it's so fine. I'll show you. I'll show you a picture.
Yeah.
It's so fine. And so basically like the wind, if there's even
I
a bit
know
of
what it's like.
humidity,
There's a little
forget
bit
it.
of wind. It's just
But you have
insane.
more than me. So you have fine hair,
Really?
so you have more of it. So I
Wow.
have fine hair and I don't have a lot of hair. So it was like twofold. And I'm like, cool, yeah, it can go long. So you want to just see right through it?
Exactly.
Like,
See
you want me to
through.
be
How
that
funny
old
is that?
hippie lady with her hair that's like, like sweeping the floor, but it's like frizzy and like literally you can see right through it. Like it's like
She just got the
those
joke.
curtains. Yeah. There's nothing cute about that.
And she showed me a picture. It really is because it's down her
You
back.
just
but it's
text it to me.
see-through. It's
Text me a photo.
Yes, I'm gonna send it to you. It is
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
good. It's not good. And when I explain it, when I had it, and I'd show people like, look at this white towel and does that look like beautiful hair to you? Yeah. But I get it. Some, like everybody has, and I know that there are going to be people like that hear this and they're like, what? There is a point where everyone's hair stops growing. There's some people that have hair that will grow till, longer than their height. It's not that common. But it's much more common, especially in curly and curly textured hair. And same, really it's everybody. Like everybody has a length that their hair grows to. And depending on your height, it looks longer, shorter, whatever. But there are a lot of coiled textures that won't grow long. It will never be long. It was not meant to be long. It was meant to grow up and out. And because of our Western styling, like ideals and like the way that we, we picture beauty, like what we perceive to be beautiful based on this westernized conditioning, they're like, oh, my hair's not beautiful because it's not long. And it's like, not all hair is supposed to be long, y'all. But you can have long hair if you make an appointment with Sabrina Rose. I will weave your dreams. But this is like, that's why I really got like deep into extensions, because I'm like, guys, it is a fact. Like, you're not going to have, some people, yes, are born with the hair that they want, but like mostly we're all like looking at over the fence, like the grass is greener over there.
Yeah.
I have a texture that I know, like, my sister loved. And like, I have so many friends that were like, girl, I wish I had your hair. But then at the same time, like, I wish I had your hair's stronger than mine. When you have the hair and you deal with like, I understand the benefits to them, like just like, being able to like use edge control and it doesn't matter if it's good or not. Like, and my edges will stay down. Yes, I know that that's a benefit. But at the same time, it's like, I want thick cornrows. I will never have thick cornrows. Ever. Like, it will never. I will never straight cornrow my hair because it is just so much space. I look sick. And that's when people realize how little hair I actually have. I did it once. I did it once as an adult, and I don't even know if there are pictures. But I wanted to like see, like, oh well, maybe I do have more like density or whatever. No, child, no.
Yeah.
That's like what
Like,
if
you
someone tries
could-
to French braid my
You
hair,
could
I just look like I'm
swim
balding.
between the cornrows. Like, no. It
You
was
know what?
so tragic. So I used that braid down to throw a weave in.
Yeah.
Perfect.
This is trash.
That worked.
But I think it's important. The reason I love to talk to you, Sabs, about hair and everything is because, I don't know, it's this thing that we all have, and it's like very few people are lucky enough to just have hair that like just, it does what you want it to do.
Right.
It just works, right? Like very, very few of us, especially if we are a person of color.
Yeah.
Yo, you need to know the secrets. Somebody's got to tell
Yeah.
you, because you're looking at these people like, how the fuck are they doing it? I walked around for years just like, how are you doing it? Until I met
my
Sabrina,
God.
and she told me all the damn
I never got
secrets.
a real braid lesson. Like when I started braiding, like my friend Lavis taught me how to braid. Purely because I was like getting bullied so bad. And I loved seeing her braid her own hair. I'm like, this bitch can, like, she's sitting here and she braided her own hair. I'm like, this is amazing. I'm like, girl, can you show me or whatever? And she did. And I'm sure, and it's so funny because now we're connected again on Facebook. And I feel like I should send her a message like, girl, you realize that you taught me how
changed
to
my
braid.
life.
I think she realized that she taught me how to braid and how much that did for me.
Yeah.
Did you say that to her?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God,
but
you have
because
to.
I literally just got back on Facebook for the brand.
Wait, but while we're talking about that, can you tell us about the line and the products that you have?
Yeah, I mean, there's tons, but
What are like your top
basically,
ones?
I mean, I love them all, but
I'm biased, obviously. I like
they're-
the nourishing line.
yeah, the products are broken up into two, like, in my mind, not on the website. They're like, I'm going to go to your website. Like, no, they are not. But between the liquids and the solids. So I have liquid products that include, there are 4 of them. There's a hair oil called the Nourishing Rose Oil. Then there's my Nourishing Shampoo. The Nourishing Conditioner, which is the conditioner.
If you highlight your hair, you need all the nourishing products.
Yes, you do. I agree. It was really about
helps.
color. Like those products were about curls and color. And I was like, how can I solve a
Nailed
major
it.
issue? Like because I knew I didn't want a crazy long range and certainly not to launch with. I did launch with more products than I thought I would, but the stars were aligning. I was so happy with the formulas and I was like, look, I have too many kinds of clients to be like, I have 4 products and none of them are for you.
Yes.
Like, so I was like, I gotta keep going. Gotta keep going. And so I have the Soothing Scalp Shampoo. And so those are the 4. So I did those 4 products because I knew that if anyone was going to take me seriously, they needed to be able to consume a product in the way that they know, which is in a liquid form.
Yeah.
The packaging is beautiful. It's matte black. I really spent a fortune on that.
I love the products, the packaging. It's really beautiful.
Yes,
it's
because
very
it's-
chic.
PET, like, so highly recyclable plastic. There is a huge plastic shortage right now because of COVID, because of our relations with China. Thanks, 45. And so, you know, it is very expensive because the bottles, just the bottles are so expensive. And the labels are really beautiful. And those are expensive as well because I wanted them to last in the shower. And then I wanted you to be able to take them off. So you didn't chuck your bottle, you saved your bottle and used it for something else. So at the heart of like me wanting to do a line, which to return to your earlier question, yes, I always wanted to do a line. I did think I was going to do it a lot older. I'm turning 40. I was like, I want to start this conversation when I'm 50 because I figured at that point I'll be much more like known, which is so ridiculous. And, you know, I'll have slowed down. I won't travel as much so that I can focus all my energies on, you know, formulating a beautiful line and have some money to boot. But then obviously everything like shook up. And then I was like, okay, girl, the universe is asking you. Basically, how Natural was born was these like, I was already taking formulation class because I was like, you know what? Like, I love the science anyway. So let me just like learn
Something
as much
to
as I
do.
possibly can. Exactly. And then, you know, I can tinker for a couple of years and then, you know, figure it out. But then I was having these virtual consults for all of my clients that I couldn't see. And it's interesting because like when, you know, the beginning of COVID and we went on serious lockdown, it was like all these clients that I hadn't even seen in a long time reached out to me. And we're like, you know, they live in different cities now. And they're like, well, it's virtual. I want to see Sabrina.
Yeah.
And it was so, like, when I tell you, I mean, lit me up. Like, I didn't even realize, I'm like, y'all still think about me? Like, you don't even live here. Like, I love how hair and makeup has allowed me to touch so many people's lives, and that in some ways that I've remained memorable to them by doing something silly like hair and makeup. But anyways,
Because people
I
remember
was
the
like,
way that you make them feel.
Yeah.
Do you know?
well, yes.
And you
that's my
get to
favorite
give
thing,
people
is
like the
loving people.
ultimate
Yeah.
girl. You make people feel like the shit. Like that's your
That's
job.
true.
Is to make
True.
me
When you
feel
did my hair, I
beautiful.
felt like a fucking supermodel.
Yes. So of course
you.
that like, people.
I was like doing shit like
yes.
walking down the street.
And you need to know who the
You're
fuck was
giving
that
people
girl.
flips.
For sure. Like, how can I feel like this all the time? Who is that girl that made me feel like this?
I
I'm
love that.
honestly like, yes.
Well, so
Which is
I
why
was
they will
having
trust
these
you and buy your
consults.
product.
Thank you. Well, I was having these consults and I'm like, okay, you can get this, and that. And then you can mix this and do this and blah, blah, blah. And they're like, girl, just tell me what to buy.
yes.
I'm not going to mix anything. Just tell me what to buy. Tell me what to buy. And it just kept going like that. Like I'd give them all these instructions and how to do like an apple cider vinegar rinse on your hair to like just get everything out, clean your scalp if they're suffering from dandruff or like psoriasis or anything like that. I'm like, okay, use this product. No. And I realized, I'm like, girl, all you're doing. So, you know, I charged obviously for these consultations, but then it's like, now I've given you a way to where to buy your color, where to buy these products, and you're gone. You're gone. So I was just putting money back into the pockets of people that already have
Lots of money.
plenty of money. Yeah. And I'm like, sorry, I ain't got no generational wealth. So then I was like, okay, queen. I like looked at my coins. I talked to Joe. I'm like, Joe, am I crazy? Should I do this? And he was like, if you're crazy, sign me up. I believe in you. Yeah. So then it was like full steam ahead.
Yeah.
And so to return to where I was the liquid products were it was important for me to do that because I really didn't want to. But it was important for me to do that so that people would trust the integrity of the product. And like me not push them too far with the shampoo bars, conditioner bars, lotion bars, and like my bar and my sustainable, like lower your carbon imprint life.
Yeah.
So then, and which was the most important thing to me because I am, you know, a Black woman with dreadlocks, and I love doing protective styles on my clients and myself. I have been using shampoo bars for the last few years. And I knew, I'm like, I want an entire line of bars. I like really just wanted it to be a collection that was zero waste. That was like the dream. But I know the consumer, and the consumer is like, bitch, what's a bar? And so in order
Yo,
for me
sorry.
to
I gave Kevin a bar and he goes, yo, I got my soap on a rope. I was like, shut up with the soap on a rope.
I love it. I love it. But so first I did the liquid so that, you know, people would trust me. And the bars, the thing about the collection is that there is this beautiful, sustainable, clean sort of aspect to it, thus Natural by Sabs. And natural doesn't mean that the products are all natural, like, because there are obviously preservatives in the liquids. Like, that's just impossible not to use some things that keep it alive.
Yeah.
But I went as far as I possibly could in using natural ingredients. And truly the natural is about like bringing out what's beautifully natural about your hair, whether that be colored hair, your weave, your braids, your fro. I love hair and I think it's all good. I do not subscribe to you got that good hair. I don't subscribe to that because it is a horrible way to think about human beings. I just don't think it's right.
Yeah.
Even if you're like frizzy hair. Why are we so afraid
I
of
hate
frizz?
that word.
It is so frustrating as someone who is highly educated in hair and hair's chemistry that we consider these things that naturally occur error
Yeah. Oh.
when it's a way for the hair to take the brunt of the natural elements.
Wow.
Coiled hair had a purpose. It
Yeah.
protected us from insects, sunburn, dirt, debris.
Yeah.
There was a purpose behind this hair. For example, like the Vikings, that hair grew incredibly long because it worked to keep them warm. Like it's all for a reason. And we've come so far away from that like evolutionary past that it's pretty, good, bad. And it's like, nah, dog, it's just hair.
Yeah.
Like, so when you sit in my chair, the first thing, everybody's apologizing. Everybody's always apologizing for their skin, for their hair. I didn't wash it. I washed it too much. Is it too clean? Is it too dirty? All this shit. Like, you come into my chair and welcome home. That's number one. Welcome home. This isn't a place for you to be judged. It's for me to tell you the truth and for you to leave feeling good about yourself. You're perfect the way that you are. I want my products and I want my services to only heighten that in whatever way you want, which is why Natural by Sabs, I focused on cleansing products first, cleansing and conditioning, because I think that that's paramount, and we don't focus on the most important step.
Yeah.
If you have really good shampoo and conditioning practice, typically your need for products is much, much lower. And I'm not saying for it to do something that it wouldn't naturally do, because that's crazy. There's no magic in the bottle. There's no magic. So yes, if you want your hair to do something that wouldn't naturally do, you're going to always need products. Yes. Like if you want it to be curly with a wand and you don't expect it, and you want it to stay in your hair straight, without product, like, you're tripping. That's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't matter how
Without
it is.
product, my hair, literally, you put a curl in my hair and like 20
Yeah, it's gonna
minutes
fall.
later.
Magic in a bottle, dude.
Of
That's
course.
like, that was
so sad.
That was like, all right. Magic in a bottle hit me in a way. I had to like let you keep going.
Because that's what they have sold us our whole life.
Yes. And
And, like, I love that
girl,
you
you and
brought
I
that
are two
frizzies
little,
up.
we're two little brown girls. I search for fucking magic in a bottle, every bottle
course,
that I
me
bought,
too.
every single
I
bought
bought
that I
every
bought.
tool.
Yes. I was like, here's
bought everything.
$5.99 that's going to get me to whatever
Right?
it is.
Right?
That, like, I want it to
Like
be, like, to
$3.
perfection. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't even know what. Dude, it's so, hair,
up.
dude, it's so crazy. It's so crazy. It's like,
Yeah.
it's so
I mean, the
nutty.
lies.
Yes.
That's sort of, again, like going back to the line, is that was part of, like, the most important thing to me is, like, for this thing to not get too big for its britches. Like, I'm glad that the product has been well received thus far. I am not at a stage that I'm ready to grow much more this year. We are still very much in a global pandemic.
Yeah.
There's a vaccination. I got my first shot. Y'all got your first shot.
Yeah.
Into that. But, like, we're still very much in it, and I am not working as much as I would normally be working. Therefore, I don't have as much money to put into the line. This is self-funded, and no, I don't want your money, because I don't want anybody's, like, accountability.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to pay back anybody.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
I don't want to answer to anyone.
Yeah.
I don't want any of that. So the bars for me was like my dream. That's the dream. The dream product is to make shampoo and conditioner bars cool. I
I
want
love that.
people to know that you can use a product that, we're all like, oh, less ingredients, more natural. I'm like, well, guess what, guys? Bars is exactly that.
Yeah.
Because of the saponification process, a shampoo bar self-preserves. That, we have to say that there's a shelf life, but realistically, there is no shelf life because it's soap.
Yeah.
It's so the shelf life means, on my bars, I have a 2-year shelf life.
2 years still.
which
It's
they're going to
great.
last way longer than that. But we say 2 years because I want you to know that in 2 years, you can't expect it to smell like lavender.
Right.
As strong as it did when you bought it. That's just not realistic.
Right.
It's not. But
But that soap's still
might.
going to work.
But the soap is still going to work.
Yeah.
the
That's pretty
thing.
cool.
It's, like, you're not going to get the smell, but you will get the benefits. But, you know, it's still not what you bought it for. So, you know, I just, with the line, because I have so much control over everything, like, my FAQs are, and I'm constantly adding to it. I'm like, if somebody asks me a good question, I'm like, I'm putting it up on the FAQs. I care so much about telling the truth. I care so much about being transparent, because I don't want anyone to have that feeling of like, oh, this is going to solve this problem that I have. And it's like, there is no easy solve.
Yeah.
In a lot of these issues, it's like you needing to accept the texture that you were born with.
Right. There might not even be a problem. It might be like a perceived
Oh my God,
problem
so many
half the
times.
time, right?
I've had girls come to me like, my hair, it's too, oh, this is the best one, which coming from like you and me, Alex, with our fine ass hair, it's too big. I'm like, bitch.
No such thing.
But when you have a lot of hair,
Yeah.
they're like, yeah, like I'm tired. Shampooing my
know.
hair
Oh my
is
God.
work.
I have to say, at least having fine hair, it dries
It's easy.
fast. I don't blow dry it. It
easy.
just dries in the air.
Well, now I have dreadlocks, and I'm like, Lord, I'm like, this is what y'all been going through? It
Takes
so
forever
long.
to
It
dry.
takes so long.
Yeah.
And like,
Okay, you're making me
obviously,
feel a little
dreadlocks,
grateful.
They exactly, they dry the longest, but it does. I love that I've been on two sides of the coin where I'm like, no hair, and now my hair is heavy.
Yeah. I also,
it-
you must use a lot of product when you have really thick hair,
Yeah.
right? Like I
But here's the
probably.
thing: is you don't need to.
Because all scalp
They just
work,
think
right?
that
That's
they
what I've
do.
learned from Sabs. It's all scalp work.
It's all scalp
Right, you're not
work,
supposed to be-
especially
yeah.
shampoo. Like, let me, like, if I can leave the listener with any like gems, like, you know, is stop over shampooing, guys. You don't need that much, especially even if it's sulfate free, which all of my formulas are. It will still lather. You don't need foam. Basically, foam doesn't mean it's clean. What it means a lot of the time is it's going to be super dry.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that, again, that's not mutually, like, you know, that's not always the case.
Yes.
I think it's so important for you to take your time, and granted, not when you're in a rush and not when you're a mom of three. Like, girl, I know you ain't got no time for this. You ain't got no time for me. And you're right, you don't. But there is a way for you to get what you want out of your products. You just have to figure out what the, like, you know, what the product is, how you're going to utilize it. Because a lot of the time, water is the enemy. And I want to be very clear about what I mean by that. Water, when you're shampooing and conditioning, going back to the straw analogy, if your hair is a straw, when your straw, like your hair, is filled with water, product cannot get in. Product cannot get in. So you need to wring the water out of your hair. Step away from the shower. Step away from the water and wring your hair out. And especially if you have thick hair, get away from the water. Like, get it wet enough so that, like, you know, the product will spread, but get away from the water because the water is filling the cuticle with water and not
makes
product.
sense.
So you're shampooing nothing. And especially conditioner. Conditioner is the number one thing that people are like, you know, immediately my friends, like I have friends with really long hair that are, you know, have been my clients forever. And they're like, girl, you know, I'm jumbo size. And, you know, like with their,
Yeah.
you know, I'm a jumbo size girl. Like, let me know when you have these jumbo sizes. I'm like, girl, jumbo with my product packaging, et cetera. I'm like, those are not coming out for you.
Yeah. I'm a jumbo girl.
Plastic
Goddamn.
shortage Like,
You're
it's
bad
not
for the
gonna-
Must be buying
environment, girl.
Tresemme, like the big
But I'm
pump
like,
bottles
you
or
don't need as
something.
much conditioner as you think you do.
Yeah.
You don't, because you're not even allowing the conditioner to
Penetrate
get absorbed
properly.
into
Snap,
your
so you're
hair
supposed
because
to,
you're
like,
filling
wet-
it with water.
Wet, shut it off, shampoo, turn it back
You
on.
don't have to
Just
shut it
step
off.
away.
You can leave
Just
the
a
water
little-
running. I don't want you to freeze in there.
I don't know why I've always done that. For some reason, I came
Because we were
instinctually.
taught in commercials to do that. Like when you're buying $3 shampoo, yeah, bitch, let the water run. Be in there. Like that's fine. But if you're buying my $26 shampoo, I
Yeah.
want you to get your money's worth.
Yeah.
Man, I've
And my
come a long
$30
way.
conditioner.
I remember when I first lived on my own. I mean, I could only afford like the Suave. Do they even still make Suave shampoo and
Of
conditioner?
Yes.
course. That's
Yes,
It was like
Suave is a
$1.99.
huge brand.
That's an institution.
Yes.
And I mean,
Unilever, girl,
that was what I
Unilever.
bought. But I also wasn't highlighting my hair, so it was whatevs. But
Yeah.
also, I just
but
literally
there's a
couldn't
lot
afford
of
anything
drugstore
else.
stuff. Listen, there's a lot of drugstore stuff that's good.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry. Like, we can, people are like, oh, just get away from the drugstore. I'm like, that's not true. That's just not true. It's like we want you to buy something better,
Yeah.
meaning more expensive, so we can put that money in our pockets. But
We got to talk about this on beauty
stuff
school.
that's perfectly fine if you use it correctly.
Because I'm very curious.
I've got, yes, go ahead.
No, what were you saying?
No, I'm changing the subject. So if you've got something subject, okay. So something I do want to say is that I don't know very, very many young people, but Kevin and I have been watching like college hoops lately, like the college,
Oh, yeah.
all the college games around right now, right?
Yeah.
These young girls, they all have braids or like locks. They are like they're wearing their hair natural. Some of these girls are playing basketball in wigs with acrylics and lashes, girl.
I know.
That's
I'm
amazing.
like, what?
I'm like,
go
I live
girl,
with this.
go girl. Like
The internet exists now. Girls know young how to look good.
But that's not even that, girl. But playing basketball, playing full-on college basketball in a wig
I'm
with
very
acrylics
impressed.
and lashes, bitch.
I'm
That's
very impressed by that.
impressive. That is
It's
very
so
impressive.
impressive. And what
That's
I
hilarious.
love is that before sports, like, you weren't allowed to like let your femininity shine, and like even if it like, basically like the assumption that like if you're an athlete, you're queer or otherwise, when like there is a mix of both very
Yes.
much. And just because you're queer doesn't mean you don't want acrylics and lashes, because I'm here to tell you that I'm extremely queer and I love all that shit.
Or just because you like basketball doesn't mean you can't like wigs and lashes.
Right?
That's what I mean. It's like, why
saying you
is
could be
it-
straight
we-
too and
women
play
have
basketball,
always-
period.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We have always had to give up one to have
Yes.
like,
Yeah,
it's
it's
so
fucked up.
weird. Like, we can't be everything, which is just not real.
Yeah.
It's not real. Nobody is just one thing. And it's like a girly girl and only likes The Bachelor and The Bachelorette. And no shade, I did watch The Black Bachelor, let's be honest. I just finished it.
Yes.
But like, it's like we always have to be like fall into a category. And I just love that this new generation is like, fuck out of here.
Yes.
Fuck out of here. I'm going to wear my nails and I'm going to fucking hoop you down.
Yes. What's the wig glue?
Even
also?
more impressive.
What is the wig
If
glue?
you
that
can shoot
use?
hoops and you got all this other shit going on.
Baby, I know what it is.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. They're sweating. It's like, yeah, I'm very impressed with the stay puttedness also, because they don't look
Right.
crazy at the end. Everybody
Yeah.
be looking the same going on the court as they did going
I
on
know,
to
they
the
look
court.
good. They're just like a little
Yes,
gooey. I'm like,
that's what I'm
ooh, girl,
saying.
you better go.
Yes,
Also, to be young.
to be young. But I was very like happily surprised by the amount of natural hair that I saw. I was just like,
I know,
all right,
it's
this
amazing.
generation, that's awesome, because, for a
Well,
little
also,
bit.
the scope of jobs, like they were like,
Yes.
fuck your job description,
Yes.
fuck your corporate.
Yes.
I'm a disruptor, bitch.
Yes.
Like, they make they make their own jobs, they have their own
Yes.
title, and they're making more money than us. And
Yeah.
I'm like, good for y'all.
Yep.
Because we literally made all this shit up. All of it up, all the credentials up,
Yep.
all of it has been made up. I have talked so many times, not on our podcast, but amongst other professionals about like how unfair the licensing system is in the U.S. and how it is another systematic thing that holds back immigrants and people of color, because people come from. I had a whole class that I taught in Seattle at beauty school of women that came from East Asia and like Cambodia and Thailand, and they all had already gone through training and were working in hair and working as estheticians and working in beauty, and came here and had to get licensed, and with no money, no nothing. And it's like they couldn't even take a test to prove they already have these skills, because America doesn't accept anything.
As if you don't have to
accept
pay
your money.
As if you don't have to exactly.
That's
As if you
it.
don't have to pay to get your green card. That shit is so expensive to become
It's
an
so fucked up.
American that it's people have no idea.
Listen, I know someone who got her waxing license just by paying for it.
I know,
I don't
me
know
too.
who she
me
knew,
too.
but
I know so many white Italians.
yeah.
That like Europeans, but that come from the pretty countries that people love, that literally bought their licenses.
Yep.
Like, and it's
fuck is that
so
about?
infuriating, because I've been to beauty school 3 times.
You're like,
Oh my
fuck you
God,
guys.
I've got all the
I was
licenses.
gonna say, bitch has 3 licenses.
I mean, that's my own dumb shit. Like, went to school, then like, oh, I'm going to Europe to do the shows, and then when I came back, my school was closed. And I'm like,
That's hilarious, but not.
You ain't got no hours, bitch. Go back to school.
The fucking hours. Talking about the hours, it's so
Oh
triggering.
my God, the hours.
God.
Oh, and
It's
depending
so
on where you are in the
triggering.
country, like, California is 1,600.
Right. What is it here, 1,200?
Here's only 1,000. But you don't really get the nail care and the facial, like sort
It's
of
like very
the
minimal.
program. Exactly. And really, you only test on hair.
Let's
In Seattle, I took my board there, and I had to do nails. I had to do a facial. I had to do
Damn.
all that shit. Yeah, they ain't playing.
nails. Is
But
that
you also,
cosmetology
they
school?
don't have the apprenticeship program like they do in New York, where and what's weird is like they have apprenticeship, but it means for you to get your license, where apprenticeship here means it's your track to get a chair.
Interesting.
So you can get a license, and if you have money, which you don't, like most
Right.
you don't, you can get a chair at your aunt's salon or whatever. But if you want to be in a prominent salon here, you have to assist, which is essentially
Right.
your apprenticeship.
Right.
You learn how to get a license in hair school.
Right.
You
The
learn how to
apprenticeship is kind of
wear-
what molds you,
Yes,
I assume.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is
And
pretty
I
cool.
apprenticed as a hairstylist, as a makeup artist, and I went to Bumble. I was educated at Bumble. I went to Madeleine Cofano in Paris for balayage. I went to Sassoon Out classes in London. And countless classes in between at hair shows and like Cosmoprof, and I'm always interested in learning more, because what's cool about hair and makeup is it's ever changing.
Yeah.
And there's always a new
It is very
product
fun.
and a new way to do something, and what's like hip. And because now we have this like blogging culture, things are moving much more fast.
I'm sure.
It's
I'm
like,
sure.
okay, now it's baby lights, which I'm like, guys, it's a fucking highlight. It's a foil
Right?
highlight. Like, we've been doing this forever. All you're doing is much, much, much skinnier sections.
Yeah.
I guess it's also just a marketing ploy of like, yeah, this new way, come get them done. We'll
Well,
charge you
exactly.
more.
And then come take a class and
Yes.
spend hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Which I've been,
'Cause it's the new trend.
Yes, and I've been noticing that also.
To get
with, like,
certified, which
yes.
nobody cares.
Yes. The same thing in aesthetics. The same thing.
Yeah.
So many certifications.
Yeah.
And don't even listen. They don't matter.
Yeah. Should we do a question?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love a listener question.
Okay.
So I've been noticing on natural hair Instagram accounts and YouTube channels that there's been a backlash against shea butter and oils for your hair. Sometimes it's only certain oils like jojoba and black castor oil, and other times it's just an outright ban on oils. Is this backlash based on facts? Is it just a
No.
trend? Help us out.
Oh my
From
God.
Jessica.
Jess, I love you, first of all. I love you, and you have the best questions. Jess, do not believe this bullshit hype and these bloggers.
Don't
With this
believe
cancel
bloggers.
culture. Sit the fuck down. Like, please stop. Oils are amazing. Jojoba is a carrier oil. It is a magical fucking oil. And here's why.
It mimics your natural fucking oils. Why would anyone talk shit in it?
It is the same pH as your hair, skin, and nails, which means that your body can absorb it and knows exactly what to do with it. So sit all the way the fuck down.
Bunch of dummies.
Jojoba
Bunch
is
of dummies.
a carrier oil that I use a lot. And
It's
I
a
love
great
it.
oil. It's always
It's a
an
great
oil I'll recommend.
Black castor oil, also amazing. Should be mixed. Shouldn't be applied on its own. It's quite heavy, but it depends on your hair type. If you're 4C, you could fuck with black castor oil and be fine. But my fucking 3A ass cannot. I cannot. You know, the thing is, like shea butter, well, is incredible. It's an incredible additive that I also use in my formulations. Should it be used on its own on your body? Go for it, bitch. It's major. On your hair, maybe not. It just depends on your hair type. I really do not like cancel culture.
Ugh,
I think that
on
some
it.
people need to be a little more kind and recognize that these are hardworking individuals that may have more credentials than they do. When they start canceling things, I would like to know
For real.
whose hair you're doing
Yes.
and how long you've been doing, said hair.
Yes.
While you're canceling a bracket of incredible things that occur in nature that are great for hair, skin, and nails. But I will say, no, there are no bans on any oils. I think the one that I would say that is constantly recommended as an oil to be used on its own incorrectly is coconut oil.
Yes.
The law is and not even the
It was
law.
such a trend for a while.
Yes, coconut oil is amazing. She is amazing, but it is way too rich. If you can cook with it, it's too rich for your hair on its own. That's
Good rule of
it's too
thumb.
rich.
That's a really good rule.
Some people can handle it. Like I said, there are some textures. Like there was a model that I worked with for many years. She's from Holland, absolutely gorgeous, white, covered in freckles. She could use coconut oil all over her skin and never break out. That is a genetic thing. I have really good skin. If I use coconut oil all over my face, I will break out. It is too heavy for me. So like I said, I can't even say that it's across the board that you can't use it. But I will say that what I have found over the 20 years that I've been touching human beings for a living, that coconut oil is best used as an additive oil, not a carrier oil, not a base oil, not something that you use on its own. But yes, slather that shit all over your body, use it as lube, it's great. It's great.
Use it as lube.
Yeah, I'm there you go. She's not gonna hurt your cutty.
You want to close this out with a segment? You got something for us?
If you don't have one, I have one.
I definitely want to hear yours. I did, and I don't know where I put it. I thought I left a note.
say?
I thought of it as we were talking.
Did you read
Oh,
mine?
good.
No.
All right, great. Okay.
But I'm going to go, because it has to do with makeup. It's so weird. You guys are probably just
great.
like, this weirdo.
It's my favorite.
So when I first moved to Brooklyn, I was 19. And I worked front desk at a spa. But I was like, I need to make more money. And so I was really at this point, I hadn't decided I was going to go to esthetician school yet. But I knew that I loved beauty shit. Most young girls do.
Right.
And
You're like, make myself prettier. Done.
yeah. And I also had actually gone to see a cosmetology school in Ridgewood because
nice.
I was
Okay.
thinking of doing hair. It wasn't something I was passionate about. It was just like,
But
I need to think
lot
of a
of people
career
aren't.
and I like beauty stuff, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, went on the interview. I realized I didn't know what I'd do about the money for it. Anyway, put that on the back burner. And I was like, I know what I'll do. I put an ad on Craigslist being like, do you need help at the drugstore picking out your cosmetics? I can guide you.
I love this idea.
Except I never actually people did contact me, and then my boyfriend at the time was like, I don't think that's a good idea to meet strangers off Craigslist, and he freaked me out, so I wound up not doing it.
What was
but
your plan of charging people?
that I would charge them, I think it was like a $25 flat fee, for me to help them pick out like the proper colors, because I was so obsessed. I was on this website called Makeup Alley,
I love
and I
this.
was on these message boards.
I remember Makeup Alley.
Yeah, and I feel like I really had gotten a good grasp of
She
just
was
like
one of the
stuff.
first like makeup blogs.
Yes.
Like,
And so I really feel like I knew a good amount about drugstore cosmetics.
Yeah.
And I was like, I could help someone, and there are probably so many people who don't know what the fuck they're doing. So anyway,
It never worked out?
didn't
Did
know
you
them,
ever
but I'm
take
older
a
now. And
client?
don't meet strangers off the internet. It's never a good idea, even in a public place.
fair.
I mean, okay.
Clearly, I sounded young and naive. I'm sure that ad was weird.
I
you
need
know?
to know. I need to hear the ad first of all.
I
Because
wish
Oh my God,
I don't
I
think
love
it's a terrible
it.
idea. I'm not
I
gonna
wish I
lie.
had
Like
it.
I don't know if that's a true story. Don't meet people off. People are doing that right now. I'm sure. Come meet me, like some kind of gigs. I'll meet you at Dwayne. Well, maybe pre-pandemic. I'll meet you at Dwayne Reed, and we'll walk together, and I'll help you pick things out. Isn't that basically what we're doing on the podcast?
I mean, kind of.
It's a great idea.
It seemed like a good idea. I
think
mean,
it's a great
it
idea.
could have been
I don't-
something.
I mean, I think maybe the internet back then wasn't quite the same. Like there wasn't so much checks and
Yeah.
balances. It was Craigslist, whatever. I don't think it was a terrible idea, Alex. I think that you were onto something. I think that was your little entrepreneurial gene.
Honestly,
talking.
I think it was
Do you know?
awesome.
Yeah.
I am mad that I didn't think to do that.
Right?
Because I would do.
Right, bitches, like,
do
I would meet
my
people.
like money grab, like when I was broke, or like I really needed to like like help someone like get something, or like myself, or whatever. Like I would do $50 waves. So basically, you come with your hair and your hair already stretched, and I will throw it in. And partial's not full because that's like too much like cutting and whatnot. But I would do your like with leave out. So basically
Yeah.
a weave with leave out, which means for Alex. So this is left out so that they can do whatever part.
So it like lays nicely.
Got it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it was a way for me to practice weaving when I was doing a lot of white hair. And I didn't want to like, I wanted to stay strong. And it was like almost like not, it was a way for me to like feel like stay connected to black hair.
Girl, I definitely
But
would have
also,
answered
like,
this fucking Craigslist
Girls that
ad in
would have never
2004.
come to me at the
Yes,
salon.
right. Yeah, girl,
Like
2006.
never would have come to me at the salon, got to get their hair done by me
Yeah.
for nothing.
Yeah.
That's like what
That's
I
a really
normally
good
get
idea.
Tipped.
Yes.
That's my normally what I
Right.
get tipped.
Yeah.
Not like
But what a good little side thing.
Right.
And it helped you with
Oh my
money
God,
and it helped
totally.
your
and
skill.
it was like cash. And the thing is, I was doing it so often, I got so fast. And I remember like I did a weave, and also it was like the hair was right, like everything collided.
Yeah.
But like I did a weave in the shortest amount of time that I ever did. I did a weave in an hour and a half, and I was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, you like did it.
Like the whole braid down and sewed all the hair in.
Damn. Wait.
And I'm not fast. Like that's the thing, is I'm not fast. Like I know plenty of black hairdressers that are like, bitch, I could do it in an hour.
Yeah.
But that's not me. I've never been like super
Yeah.
fast, because I'm like so like, oh, I'm looking and I'm checking, and I'm very like A type. And yeah, no, it was such a great side hustle.
I love it.
I love it. Wait, do you have one too?
I do.
You had it, I didn't know then?
I do. I've gotten I didn't know them, but I'm older
Oh,
now.
I know though. I have plenty of those.
We can do it, whatever. You got one?
Okay.
You want to
You
throw
wanna
one
do
out
No,
there?
you give me one and I'll give you one.
Okay, so this is okay, so I'm kind of happy to tell this story because I think that it's like appropriate for like we're using this episode for the launch of like being on the Exactly Right network. So
Yay for Exactly Right.
Yay for Exactly Right. So Alex and I got we got an email like from Danielle, one of the executive producers, in September saying that they want to be on the show. And it was so like, you know, we'd been working towards this goal for a long time, but like I emailed them back in March. It was just so out of the blue. And this is like, you know, My Favorite Murder is one of my favorite podcasts. So it was a little unbelievable. Not unbelievable, but yeah, it was a little unbelievable. Just like, is
For
this
sure.
really happening? What's going on? Da da da. And so we set up a phone call to like just get on the phone with Karen and Georgia and to like meet everybody. And Alex and I are super excited and we're really nervous. And so like the day of the phone call comes and it's a Google Hang. We get the calendar invitation, but we're just like, this is so weird. Like, why is this, like, why are we
like a
dialing
voice
in?
thing,
It's
yeah.
Like it's like a conference call? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Come to find out, when you leave Elizabeth.
Stop taking over my story.
I know.
This is my
Alex,
story.
let her have her.
Because it's
Wait,
so
no.
funny that it made me cry when she came to this realization.
First of all, I love that you're trying to blame me for this because you didn't even realize the mistake until I pointed it out to you. So this is both of our dumbasses.
Okay, I only blamed it on you based on our last call.
Okay. So we take this call and we're on the phone with them. And the whole time Alex and I are looking at each other like, this is so weird. Like, why aren't we video conferencing?
Yeah, it's
Everybody-
very hard to talk to three people on a
Yes,
call.
like everybody in
Guys,
the world
that's how
is
it always
fucking
used to be
Zoom.
conference call.
Exactly.
I know.
So,
What a
yes.
weird
So we're
concept.
thinking, okay, we know that they're like Gen Xers. Maybe they're just like, fuck these hoes. They don't need to see us. Like, we just need to
Yeah,
talk on
or
the
they thought that
phone.
we'd like record it, maybe,
Or
like
something.
video.
I don't know.
recording?
But because of this, the whole time that we're going through this process of signing with them, because it took so long, I'm starting to talk myself out of it. I'm like, yo, this was an elaborate hoax. Y'all never saw these bitches.
She
You were
convinced me
you
it
were
was a hoax.
You were just on the phone with them.
For like a very
If
short
this-
span of time, she had me convinced that there was a chance that we were being
We were
scammed.
being scammed. I really believed
Oh
this for
my
a little bit because I
God,
was
you
like,
guys.
if this was today's time, like who doesn't video conference? Who doesn't Zoom, right?
You had me convinced.
Yo, so our most
Adult-
recent, listen,
like
listen,
what?
hold on a second. So our most, long story short, is obviously we end up signing, everything's fine. For our first onboarding call, the same thing happens, right? The Zoom, the Google Calendar invitation comes
Except
in.
we're separate this time.
time we're
and I'm
separate.
on there with video, and I'm like, why?
Stop.
Texting
stop,
her like, why?
Stop. Long story short is we didn't know that if you just open up Google Hangs, it's automatically on video.
A video. I was like, wait, guys, you realize that you had the option.
No,
When she refers to herself as an auntie,
because everybody, we are like the only two people that aren't Zooming
I was
this
trying
time.
so hard not to laugh when we were in that call because I was like, where's she at? I'm like, oh, she must not have turned her camera on. And then I'm like, no, she doesn't know
Oh my God.
that this was
I
video.
would've
Because we did
died.
chat being like, is
I'd
this
have been
video?
like, hold on, because grandma isn't, she can't get
Wait, but
her
when she
camera.
then realized what happened last time, I had tears.
Yo,
I
when we
was
got
like,
off that
we were
phone,
weirdos.
and I realized what the fuck happened, that they were on the video,
Definitely,
and we
that
were the
first call.
assholes who were calling in on the first
That first call, definitely. Two weirdos.
They were
And we were
like,
sitting really
yeah,
close
so
to
I
each
guess
other, too, like
podcast
talking.
is all they can do. And these ladies really don't want to be seen, huh?
Why didn't they say anything to us? Like, do you guys want to be on video?
Nobody said anything.
That's where the politeness.
But now that I think
like,
about it, I could hear like I could hear in their voices that they're like, this is Danielle talking. So like,
oh no.
Sorry I tried talking over you, but it's
Sorry,
just so
guys.
good. It's so funny.
and so oh my god. So I didn't know then, but I'm older now. I guess video conferencing, just figure out how to
Just
use
always
it.
assume
Yeah.
it's probably
Just figure out how to
video.
use it before you try and jump on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
100%.
Yes.
Practice.
Oh, not
Yes.
surprising.
Practice,
We've been
yes.
chatting for almost 2 hours.
I know.
Or an hour
I
and
know.
40 minutes.
We do that. We
I
do
know.
that.
How does that happen?
I know.
We're definitely gonna have to edit this down.
Well, the first 30 minutes was Sabs yelling at me about my hair. So.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's like perfect.
we
It's
can
like
remove
exactly an
that.
hour and 10 minutes or so.
Wait,
Yeah,
do you have a segment?
perfect.
Did you want to add something, or should we wrap with auntie-isms?
Yeah, I think auntie-isms is great.
Okay.
Let's do it. I have plenty, but I can save them for our episode.
Our
Okay,
beauty
save
school.
them for episode for a beauty.
Yeah, these
school
were some
episode.
good. I think
Yeah.
we had good ones.
Yeah, these were good. Yeah.
Okay, so Sabs, tell everybody where they can find you, where they can support Natural by Sabs, where they can buy all your
Yes.
products.
Yeah, so if you go to www.ntrlbysabs.com, you can check out my entire range of shampoo and conditioning products. And my lotion bars, my lip balms, the hair oil that is so magical that Alex doesn't look like trash.
I love the hair oil. You can use it for everything. I used it for my cuticles last night.
I should do that.
Yeah, exactly. She's a multi-use
oil.
oil. It's amazing. And you can use the coupon code True Beauty Brooklyn for 15% off your first order.
Yeah, guys.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
And
for that.
please follow us on Instagram at Natural by Sabs. We'll make sure to post this with the link on our IG. And I just truly appreciate you guys taking the time to talk to me about my little brand.
Yeah, and dudes, Sabs is with us once a month. So she's here to listen to all of your listener letters.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
write in
you-
any beauty questions.
Yeah, if you have any beauty questions,
Especially hair and makeup.
We talked mostly about like me, but like I love answering your questions regarding hair and makeup and anything silly, like, you know, you used this product when you were young and you just want to tell us about it. So
I love that shit.
Yes.
we love that
yeah,
too.
I miss those.
We all
So
do.
please feel free to email us at truebeautybrooklynpodcast@gmail.com.
That's it. That's
or
us.
send it to our IG and we will 100% get to it because we will answer all those questions, y'all.
Yes.
Yes.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Sabs, we love you so much.
Thank you. Love you.
Thanks for chatting
Love
with us.
you. And I mean me and my Gemini twin.
Oh, hey, guys.
Hey. We hope that you loved that episode with Sabs.
Also, Alex has something that she'd like to say real quick.
Oh my God. Okay, so during that intro, I said, see ya on the flip side. I've never said that in my life. I don't know where it came from. I don't know why I said it.
We're
It was
just a
weird.
little bit nervous. I started talking in a British accent. You said, see you on the flip side.
I
We
feel
were
like
both-
that's like a 90s
Yeah,
thing.
we both
I don't
got really
know.
nervous because here we
that was
are
weird.
on the Exactly Right Network, and it's exciting. It's exciting. We're nervous. We're just meeting you guys. You like us. We really want you to like us.
Oh my God. Well, you might not like me now because you're like, see
You're like,
on
who's
the
this whiny
flip
voice saying,
side?
see me on the...
I don't know if that's like a. I have to find out where that came from.
I like it, though. I like that it was...
Like, why was it
that
in my brain?
Because that was like 12-year-old you trying to like be cool. Do you know what I mean? And like... Some like
I'll
old
get everyone to like
upperclassmen, yeah,
me.
some upperclassmen somehow was like, "What's up, Shapiro?" And you're like, "See you on the flip side."
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
But I said it when we listened back to the recording. I said it so like
You said it so
flawlessly.
casual. She said it great. You said it
Like,
super casually.
Maybe I should keep
super.
that in my repertoire of things to say.
All right, we'll
But I just
workshop
wanted to
it.
address that.
Yes, I love
Anyway, hope you loved that interview with Sabs.
that. Yeah, I thought that was a lot of fun. Sabs is the sweetest, and she's so funny because, I mean, Sabs is from the Bronx through and through, and she's definitely hard, but like I love to see those soft moments when it's just like the three of us and she can kind of be herself a little bit more and be super sweet.
Totally. Just the three of us and all of you.
And all of you guys now, all of our new best friends, yay. So anyway, guys, here's the big ask. We need to hear from you. We live to talk, but more so is we live to laugh. We fucking love to laugh. We try to share all of our sort of like cringiest, worst moments on our glow up from age 12 to today, 35 bitch. And we want to do it because it just makes everybody seem more normal, right? And I think that just hilarities overall are great. So send us your milk with your dinner. Send us your I didn't know them, but I'm older now. But more equally as important, send us your questions. Please, we are here for you guys. We love skincare. We love beauty. We love sharing all of our secrets. And here's the biggest secret. Alex and I were talking about this before, is the biggest secret in beauty, I think, is that you need somebody who knows more than you to tell you that you fucking up. All of our greatest moments, I think, in like leveling up has come. First, it was Christine Dow. Shout out to Christine Dow, 18 years old. She said, bitch, stop tweezing your eyebrows. Just stop pulling all the hairs out of your face. And the next moment Alex and I realized is when we took, these photos for the Exactly Right Network. And of course, we went to our friend Sabs, who did our hair and makeup, and her husband's this incredible photographer. And we looked at ourselves and we looked beautiful, but we looked like the most beautiful versions of ourselves. And we were like, I don't know, is this too much? Bitch, it's not too much. Our friend Sabrina knew because she works with celebrities. She works on set. She said, it's just an aesthetic. It's an aesthetic that we don't have because we are normies, and you just need somebody to help you level up. And we want to be that person for you. I tell you that tangent. I took you down that tangent lane with me because we want to be your beauty besties. And sometimes you need somebody who just knows a little bit more than you do about skincare, about eyebrows, about taking pictures, about your hair, about growing it out, about cutting it off, whatever. Send us your letters. Send us all of your questions. We're here for you. We can't wait to answer them. Where can they send them, Alex?
TrueBeautyBrooklynPodcast@gmail.com.
Email us at TrueBeautyBrooklynPodcast@gmail.com. Also, you can DM us on Instagram at TrueBeautyBrooklynPodcast. What else can they do? Oh my God, you guys can rate, review, and subscribe. You can rate, review, subscribe. Rate, review, subscribe.
We would really appreciate it.
We would love that. And you can tell your mama, you can tell your cousin, you can tell your friend. You can listen to our back catalog, which is not exactly right. Don't judge us because our audio wasn't great at the beginning. It took us a while to figure out microphones. Don't judge us. But we loved you guys enough. It gets better, as you can hear. But we had so much to fucking say. We were just like, let's just talk and we'll figure out the rest later. And bitch, here we are. And here we are. So we love you guys so much. Write us. Tell us what you think. Tell us about your problems. Tell us about your man. Tell us about your lady. Tell us about all the problems. Tell us about everything. We'll do our best to help you guys.
Yeah.
That's it, True Beauties. We love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next time.
This has been a COC BK production.
Produced by us, Elizabeth Taylor and Alex Shapiro.
Our engineer is Bart Tripoli.
Our theme music composer is Zebra Sonic.
Our artwork is by Garrett Ross.
Our photos, hair, and makeup are by Sabrina and Joe Holdsworth.
If you're an advertiser interested in advertising on our show, go to midroll.com/ads.
For more information, go to exactlyrightmedia.com.